2 large insulated drink dispensers, paper cups, and a few packets of cocoa mix bought in bulk from a warehouse store. His total upfront cost was under $60. He charged $3 per cup, and thanks to chilly weather, he sold over 120 cups before the day was through. That added up to $360 in sales, leaving him with a profit of about $280. Every autumn, communities across the country light up with fall festivals. From small-town pumpkin patches to sprawling harvest fairs, these events attract hundreds if not thousands of people looking for food, entertainment, and seasonal fun. What many don't realize is that these gatherings are also prime ground for everyday people to launch profitable side hustles. While some may imagine that running a booth requires professional-level equipment, a truckload of supplies, or years of business experience, the reality is that many individuals are quietly pulling in $300 or more in a single day by selling simple, easy-to-source goods. The appeal of festivals is that they create a temporary marketplace filled with people who are in a celebratory mood. Families often arrive with cash in hand, eager to spend on treats, souvenirs, and small indulgences. Vendors don't have to compete with big box stores or online retailers because the magic of the moment is what drives the purchase. Something as simple as a cup of spiced apple cider can become irresistible when the air is crisp and the music fills the fairground. Take, for example, Sarah, a teacher in Ohio who decided to test the waters with homemade caramel apples. She spent about $40 on supplies: Granny Smith apples, wooden sticks, caramel, and decorative toppings like crushed pretzels and sprinkles. On her first day at a local pumpkin festival, she priced each apple at $5. Between families wanting a fun treat and parents buying them as snacks for their kids, she sold 80 apples over the course of a Saturday. Her revenue hit $400, and after subtracting costs, she cleared $320 in profit. For one day's work, that was nearly as much as she made during an entire week of after-school tutoring. Encouraged by her success, she started reserving booths at several other nearby festivals, each one delivering similar results. Another festival favorite is kettle corn. It's inexpensive to make, eye-catching, and the smell alone draws people in. Joe and Amanda, a couple from Indiana, invested about $500 in a mid-sized kettle and some bulk bags of popcorn kernels, sugar, and oil. At their first fall festival, they set up under a small canopy and began popping batch after batch of kettle corn. They sold large paper bags for $7 each and small ones for $4. Over a 9-hour event, they moved more than 150 bags, generating close to $900 in sales. After subtracting roughly $150 in ingredient costs, they walked away with $750 in profit. They admitted it was a long day of standing and stirring, but for the income, they didn't mind. Plus, once they owned the equipment, their recurring expenses dropped dramatically. But not every profitable side hustle requires cooking. Handcrafted and seasonal goods sell just as well, especially if they align with the autumn spirit. Maria, a retired nurse from Tennessee, discovered that simple handmade wreaths made of dried corn husks, faux pumpkins, and ribbon could fetch premium prices at festivals. Each wreath cost her around $12 in materials, and she priced them at $35 a piece. At one county fair, she sold 15 wreaths in a single afternoon, walking away with $525 in revenue and just over $340 in profit. For her, the best part wasn't just the money, but the joy of watching customers proudly carry her creations home. Even items that seem almost too simple can bring in steady income. At one apple festival in Michigan, a college student named Brian set up a booth selling hot chocolate. His setup was basic: 2 large insulated drink dispensers, paper cups, and a few packets of cocoa mix bought in bulk from a warehouse store. His total upfront cost was under $60. He charged $3 per cup, and thanks to chilly weather, he sold over 120 cups before the day was through. That added up to $360 in sales, leaving him with a profit of about $280. Not only did he cover his booth fee, but he also earned nearly as much in one day as he would in an entire week from his part-time campus job. Children's items are another surprisingly lucrative niche. Face painting, for instance, requires little more than a set of paints, brushes, and a folding chair. A woman named Danielle in Pennsylvania decided to give it a try after seeing the long lines for face painting booths at her town's fall carnival. She charged $7 for a small cheek design and $12 for a full face look. With steady demand all afternoon, she completed about 40 designs over 6 hours, averaging $10 each. By the end of the day, she had earned $400. Her paint supplies cost under $25, meaning nearly all of her earnings were profit. Danielle now works a handful of weekends each fall and easily brings over $1,000 from this single side hustle. Craft beverages are another crowd pleaser. Apple cider, pumpkin spice coffee, and fresh lemonade stand out at festivals because people associate them with comfort and the season itself. At a Georgia Harvest Festival, a couple named Steve and Laura set up a cider booth. They bought gallons of apple cider from a local orchard for $5 each and sold them in 16-ounce cups for $4. A single gallon provided 8 servings, meaning they earned $32 in revenue for every $5 they spent. Over 2 days, they sold 200 cups, netting around $540 in profit after expenses. The beauty of this hustle was its simplicity. No cooking, no heavy lifting, just pouring drinks and smiling at customers. Even novelty goods have their place. Glow sticks, light-up toys, and bubble wands may seem like items you'd find at a dollar store, but at nighttime festivals they can become hot sellers. One father and son team in North Carolina purchased a case of LED wands online for $1.25 each and sold them at a local fall carnival for $5 a piece. They brought 100 with them and sold out within 2 hours, making $500 in revenue and $375 in profit. Their entire setup consisted of a folding table and a few plastic bins. Wasn't glamorous, but it was undeniably effective. For many of these side hustlers, the key isn't complexity, but timing and context. People go to fall festivals to celebrate, and part of that celebration includes treating themselves and their families. An apple that might cost $1 at the grocery store becomes a $5 indulgence when it's dipped in caramel and handed over in a festival wrapper. A packet of cocoa mix becomes a $3 hot drink when served steaming on a chilly evening. The value isn't just the item, it's in the experience. The income potential can add up quickly. Working just 3 or 4 weekends in September and October, vendors can earn over $2,000 with relatively little upfront investment. Unlike permanent businesses, there's no rent, no daily staffing, and no need for an elaborate marketing campaign. The festival organizers handle drawing the crowds, the vendors simply need to provide something appealing. Of course, not every attempt results in instant success. Weather, location, and competition play big roles in sales. A booth selling pumpkin pies might thrive on a cool day, but struggle if the weather's hot. Similarly, a prime spot near the entrance or main stage can mean the difference between steady traffic and long stretches of waiting. Successful vendors often test different events, learn from experience, and adjust their offerings. Still, the stories from across the country show a clear trend. Ordinary people are finding ways to turn seasonal celebrations into real money. Whether it's caramel apples, kettle corn, handmade crafts, or cups of cider, these side hustles prove that simple goods can generate impressive returns when offered in the right setting. As fall rolls around again this year, thousands will head to pumpkin patches and county fairs for hayrides, live music, and seasonal treats. And among them, scattered across the rows of tents and booths, will be side hustlers quietly stacking up cash. $300, $500, sometimes even $700 in a single day by selling goods that anyone could make or source. What began as a weekend experiment often becomes a reliable seasonal income stream, one that makes the crisp autumn air feel a little bit sweeter. That was all from us today for this video, folks. For more similar content, make sure to check our video on how to save money by paying less taxes. See you in the next one.